to the PowerPoint presentation of a decision that hopefully none of you ever choose to make. But when we are talking about making healthy choices and healthy decisions, we also have to inform you about the dangerous choices and decisions that are out there. The best thing about this Introduction to Health unit is that we get to introduce all these new things to you, and we kind of throw a little bit of everything at you in the beginning. We talk about all there is to know about health in the beginning, what makes up health, why health is important, and then we throw a little bit of things there at you that we're going to introduce later on in different units. We covered a little bit about nutrition. We covered a little bit about diseases. Now we're going to cover a little bit about drugs and abuse, specifically when we're talking about steroids. We'll also hit on some muscle supplements as well at the end. But this PowerPoint and this lesson is going to focus on anabolic steroids, what they do to the body, and how they can negatively impact the body. So today we're talking about steroids and muscle supplements. So the question is, what are anabolic steroids? And the answer is, they're artificial male hormones which are used to enhance athletic performance or to recover from an injury or to recover from a workout much more quickly. And what does it do? Well, it provides the muscle mass, the enlargements that it needs for it to be able to grow stronger and recover quickly. How steroids are taken? Well, the most common forms of steroids are taken through pills or injections. If you've ever seen a movie or a depiction of someone taking steroids, they probably have injected it somewhere in their bodies. There are also pill forms out there with steroids, and a little less common known ones is they can also be used as an inhaler, or they can also be absorbed through a patch. There are even creams that are out nowadays that you can rub on specific muscles to have steroids actually pinpoint to where you want them to be working. So a little bit of science for you. How steroids actually work. Well, we all know that blood goes throughout all of our muscles, giving it oxygen, giving it the energy that it needs. Well, the steroids will go into the bloodstream, and the blood will carry the steroids to the muscle. Once the blood carries the steroid to the steroid will attach itself to a receptor on the muscle cell membrane. Big fancy words where it's just going to attach to the cell, go in, and it's going to start working. Okay, the steroid will enter the cell's nucleus and it will interact with its chromosomes. What it's going to do from there is it's going to actually send information to the cells to start increasing protein production, which is going to then enlarge and enhance the muscles. Basically, when we're talking about nutrition and we're talking about getting protein, we should already know from previous lessons that protein helps build up and make muscles stronger. So basically all steroids are doing is going into our little cells in our body and telling our muscles that, hey, we're getting a lot of protein, we need to make these muscles bigger now. When people choose to do steroids, they are choosing to be at some major health risks. And we're going to talk about these in both men and women, and both men and women as well. So on the left side, you can see that physical changes in both men and women include cancer, and could be cancer of the liver and kidneys, high blood pressure, and heart disease, blood clots, liver damage, stunted growth, increased body hair, weight gain, and acne. Now, some of the side effects and health risks that are most associated with men are hair loss. They can start seeing their breasts get enlarged. Their sperm count can go down, which would make it harder for them to have children. Impotence is the inability to have children. Shrunken testicles, and prostate cancer. Now, even in women, if they're taking steroids, facial hair can start appearing. Their voice can start getting deeper. Their breasts can start to shrink. Their menstrual cycle can be disrupted, and they can start developing male pattern baldness in their hair. They can actually start going bald in the head, as well as growing a beard. Also, what you have to be looking out for is when you are taking steroids or when one is taking steroids, they are not going to know how injured they actually are if they do get injured. So that can lead to major injuries occurring, like ruptured tendons, ACL tears, broken bones, and ripped and torn tendons and ligaments. So major damage can be done to the body internally and externally as well if you choose to use steroids. Not only is steroids physically harming, but it is also mentally and emotionally harming as well, and socially harming. So steroids actually can harm all three aspects of the health triangle. People who have taken steroids have known to be aggressive and hostile, also known as roid rage. People who have also taken steroids have known to fall into bouts of depression, maybe even becoming suicidal. There are also links to them with eating disorders, especially with caring about their body image, as well as schizophrenia, which is a mental disorder where people have multiple or split personalities, or they hear voices. Those are different types of mental changes with steroid users. I know this is a comic book drawing, and I know it's meant to be a little bit of comic relief, but the fact of the matter is anger is a big issue and a big negative consequence of taking steroids. Now, a couple other different types of muscle supplements. Andro, which actually became very popular in the mid 90s when the home run slugger Mark McGwire admitted to taking this while it was legal in Major League Baseball. It basically acts and does the same general effects as taking anabolic steroids. It's used to make testosterone in the body. And testosterone is what gives us the muscles that we need and what gives us the opportunity to build and grow and repair those muscles at a more rapid pace. So Andro is just another muscle supplement that is used to enhance these effects. Creatine is something that was popular in the early 2000s, especially with high school and college students. Creatine is naturally found in your muscles, your heart, your brain, your liver, and your kidneys. It also can be found naturally in meat and fishes. How it works is basically it delays production of lactic acid. And if we know from our previous lessons, when we're anaerobically exercising, lactic acid can build up, which could cause us to become fatigued. So what this does is it delays the production of that lactic acid, which will postpone fatigue. Creatine is very popular with weightlifters because when they're anaerobically weightlifting, anaerobically exercising, they would not become fatigued and they would be able to lift longer and harder. Some harmful side effects, though, is it can lead to stiffness and cramps, and it can also lead to kidney damage. And as of right now, there is no long-term effects known because this is still relatively a young, early thing and an early phenomenon that has not been used very often. So the results are still pending with the long-term effects. But we do know that they do have harmful side effects like kidney damage. Ephedrine is another muscle supplement, and what it does is it promotes weight loss and it also gives an energy boost. Now, this used to be actually available over the counter, and only a few years ago did they actually outlaw it to only where you can get a prescription for it from a doctor. Some harmful side effects was heart palpitations, where the heart was not beating right, hypertension, stroke, comas, people going into convulsions, unable to control themselves, and also death. Two actual athletes, Rashidi Wheeler and Steve Belcher, who were 22 and 23 years old, they actually died from using ephedrine, especially when you are working out under hot conditions in temperature-wise. You get very dehydrated and you can actually collapse and die, and it unfortunately happened to these two athletes who were college football players at the time. So they were in very tip-top shape, and this ephedrine still took their lives because they were not getting enough water and they should have been low on energy, but since the ephedrine gave them an energy boost, they did not realize it and actually overworked their heart to where their heart actually stopped from the dehydration and from being overworked. And then finally, we're going to talk about protein supplements. Now, this is not really a performance enhancer, But what this supposedly does, these protein supplements, is that it supplies your body with extra protein. Now that is true, it does supply your body with extra protein, but you need to remember, your body will only use a little extra protein to build muscle if that is what you want to do when you are exercising. If you are actually doing exercises that are going to promote muscle growth, then that's when your body is going to use a little bit extra protein. A lot of these protein bars, they have tons of grams and tons of extra protein in that your body is really never going to use. And what you need to realize is the more of something you put in your body that you don't use, either your body is going to get rid of it naturally or it's going to store it, and you're going to have a lot of unnecessary items in your body that you're not even looking for. So again, this is a choice that people make. It's an unhealthy choice, specifically with steroids. Please, please, please do your research, understand what it could do to your body. If you're ever thinking about taking steroids, you need to talk to a doctor, you need to talk to someone maybe at Buffalo Grove, or someone that knows something about weightlifting, knows someone about being strong and being fit, and they will highly tell you to go and look in another direction. So please, again, my regular PSA announcement: do not take steroids. Talk to someone that knows about weightlifting. You can get big, you can have nice looking muscles without taking steroids. We'll see you next time.